Janice here from the Coal Creek Spinners and Fibre Arts Group. Today we're presenting the second in our series showcasing the various skills of our members. Today we're going to the studio of Glenda Beresford, who's in the process of weaving a bag. She's going to show us all that she does and how she does it. Enjoy. Okay, Glenda, in your spinning, are you intending to mostly use the wool that you've spun yourself and perhaps even dyed yourself in your weaving? Is that your ambition?
Well, I have tried that. This is a scarf that I made using my hand spun wool. That's the wool that I spun myself.
Right.
And that's some of it's from my own alpacas and some of it's a commercial top that I spun. And I applied them together and created that scarf. So that's alpaca and silk blend, that one.
That's come out really lovely in the colours.
Yes, I'm very proud of that. It's
Yes.
a very simple, just what they call a tabby weave, which is just your normal over under, hasn't got a special pattern at all.
But to me it looks very professional. It's come out with the colours are
yes,
beautiful.
it's lovely
And
and
the way
light.
you've got all the colours together, that's really, really good. Glenda's now going to demonstrate for us our actual weaving of her next project, which I think you told me is a bag, isn't it, Glenda?
It is a bag, yes. So I've just made up a pattern as I've gone along, but I've had to record it in my book so that I know what pattern to reverse on the other end. I'm almost to the halfway point here. I keep a track of how long it is with this bit of tape which has got some measurements marked on it along the pin to the work as I go.
Right. And these patterns that you've chosen to do, they're patterns that you've seen done before, or you've practiced before, or you've...
This is one that was actually taught to me by Ingrid when she taught me to weave. It's a fairly basic pattern, but I've just bought a book full of all sorts of exciting patterns, so I'm going to be trying some more interesting ones soon.
So you, and if you make a mistake, can you go back and undo everything?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Not as easy as in knitting where you just rip it out. You have to backtrack and work out what shuffles you had up and down when you made the mistake.
Right.
But anyway, it is. I actually found this morning I'd made mistakes and had to.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Right. And so, how much can you actually get done in an hour? Would you say of what you're doing?
Oh, I would say probably 20 centimetres. It's quite fast.
Quite fast.
Yes.
Right.
Compared to knitting, it's much faster to weave.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Okay, to weave we need to lift up the various shafts, and that's done using these levers on the side. The pattern I am doing uses 2 shafts at a time, so at the moment I'm lifting up number 1 and 2, and then I pass the shuttle through between the 2 lots of weft, warp, release the shafts and beat it into place. Next 2 shafts I'm going to do are number 2 and 3. When you bring the weft through, you don't want to pull it too tight, you need a little bit of slack, otherwise it'll draw your weaving in too far. Now number 3 and 4.
So in actual fact, you get a rhythm going when you're doing it.
Yes. And then 1 and 4, and that's the last one of that 4-row pattern. And then I start all over again with 1 and 2.
Right. Now, for anyone wanting to get started on weaving, would you say this would be too advanced for them? This loom?
No, I don't think so.
But you would definitely need some instruction.
Yes. When you've woven enough at the front here, you need to wind your weaving on. So you release the breaks at the front and back and wind on just a little bit, and then you need to tighten it up again. And then you can keep on weaving. Beads here come in different thicknesses. They're called dents per inch. This one is a 10 dent per inch, which means there's 10 slots per inch. They still aren't metricated in the weaving industry. I have another one here which is 14 dents per inch, so this one's for much finer yarns. And if what you're doing doesn't fit exactly into either 10 or 14 dents per inch, you can either miss one or two along the way. You can work out the order of which you have to, leave every fifth one empty or double up sometimes. I've finished both my bags now and I'm cutting them off the loom, so I just going to show you how I set up from warping up my loom. And first of all, we've got to put all the warp on the warping frame, which is behind me here. I've worked out that I will need 3.7 metres of warp, and I'm going to need 30 ends. So I'll grab my yarn, and I've already traced out the pattern that I'm going to be using with this red thread. That will give me 3.7 metres if I follow the red thread. So here I go.
Next process that you have to go through.
Well, I have to get it off my frame, all in order, and get it onto my weaving loom.
So this part's really vital for getting out what happens.
You take it off the loom.
Right.
Tied that little red string in by mistake. There we go. This is called a raddle, which I've put on the back of my loom, and it has lots of teeth, and it will be used to separate my sections of weaving out evenly. So I undo the little knots that I put in and separate out each lot of 10.
Oh, I see. You put 10 into each section.
Yes.
Oh, right.
These are 1/2 inch apart.
Right. So if you were doing a large piece, that would all be filled up completely.
That's right. This is going to be just a narrow strip. So.
Right.
And with my old census forms.
So you always have to something to wind around there like that?
A bit of paper. Yeah, it just helps keep them nice and even.
Okay, Glenda, you've got to this stage now, and I believe you told me these little things here are called heddles, and you've got to somehow get your threads through those. Is that right?
That's right.
Is that right?
I've chosen what pattern I want to weave, and so I will need to thread them in the order of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the front one is number 1 shaft, 2, 3, 4. So I will have to keep them in order. To help me keep my threads in order, I'm going to place these 2 bars across. This is just for the warping up procedure. And I can now, once I have tied them in place,
I see, so all depending on the pattern, this is the process you've got to go through to,
That's
to
right.
get to the end.
That wasn't very good. Might need to cut that bit out.
Okay, Glenda's now cutting her threads at the end here.
Okay, now it's time to thread the warp yarns through these heddles. I've pulled out one from the number 4 heddle and I select the first thread. I'll take these off now. And I pass my little hook through. 3 shaft, so I pull that one out, put my little hook through and grab the next thread. Next will be number 2 and the next thread in line. A soft knot there just to keep them all together.
Right, I see.
And then I'll keep
Then
repeating
you start
that.
the process again.
That's right. Got it to the side now.
Okay, Glenda, you've got to that stage, they're all threaded up, so can you explain to us what happens next?
Okay, so all my warps, my first little bunch which I've knotted together, I'll unknot it. And I have to be a little bit technical here. I know my thing is going to be 3 inches wide, so I have to measure 1.5. First I need to put some space, little clump of threads, and undo them and thread them through in order.
Okay, Glenda, now you're going to start weaving your handle.
I will. 3 and 4, and put the other spacer in, and then I'll just do a couple of goes with my some scrap yarn. So again, 1 and 2.
This is to start yourself off.
Yeah,
Right.
this is just to start it getting even.
Right.
Push that down. And this pattern I'm going to is a little bit different from the other one. It's just going to be a standard twill yarn. So I will be going through a pattern of levers 1 and 2, then 2 and 3, 3 and 4, then 1 and 4, and repeating that over and over again. And that will give me a sideways sort of diagonal line.
Right. So you've got to remember where you are each time, or can you tell by just looking at it?
No, remembering is much easier. That's 1 and 2, 2 and 3, and I don't want to pull it too tight. But
So you can't really lose the concentration while you're doing this. You've
no,
got to keep focused all the time.
yes, and you can see. Right.
That's good.
Now, sorry, I've got to go over that one.
We'll leave you working away now, Glenda. Thank you very much for your time and effort. I can see it's a lot of work doing the weaving, but I think you're very impressive. What you've done is very, very impressive, and thank you very much. And I hope you inspire all our members to perhaps learn to weave. I'm not sure I'm going to learn, but I'm sure some other people will. So thanks a lot for all your time.
It's been my pleasure, and yes, it is an interesting thing to learn to do.
Yes,
It's
it
a lot
is.
of work, but it's very rewarding.
Yes, it is.